If you're thinking about moving to northern New Jersey, but you don't know where to start, this video will be your complete relocation guide. You're probably in your own space, your own world, and your timeline is different than what typically you're gonna see on the internet. So let's just say for this example, you have an 8-week timeline. Now this is for the procrastinators who are getting to the last minute, but if you're a planner and you want to start doing some of this research earlier, that's totally fair. Talk to me if you want somewhere to start, but you can start doing these preparation tasks as early as 12 months out. But for this one, we're doing 8 weeks, 2 months out. You want to buy your first home in northern New Jersey or just any home. This guide is going to show you exactly what to do. And here we go, diving in. Everything I say in this video is for your benefit as a viewer. I am a real estate salesperson, but I'm also a real estate business owner. And it means a lot to me that you guys are getting accurate information for northern New Jersey, which is where you'll be purchasing if you're watching videos of me. Let's start with 8 weeks out. This is gonna be your initial research phase. At this time, you want a general overview of everything that you need for your real estate buying journey. And this is gonna include the people that you're going to be working with. Who are those people that you should vet, interview a couple of each? Well, it's going to be your real estate agent. It's going to be your loan officer or mortgage broker. If you're using a mortgage, you have cash, don't really have to worry about that. You're also going to need an attorney to purchase a home in northern New Jersey. You're going to need an inspector. And then there's other things that you might need as well. Maybe you want a survey of your property because you want to put a fence in. So there's a surveying company that I would definitely recommend. So you start doing your research, interview myself, interview other agents, find out who you want to work with. That is the first thing that you need to do. Obviously, you can go on Zillow and look at all these homes, but you can't really do much by looking at homes on Zillow. You can do anything you want in real estate once you've assembled your real estate team. And the biggest first step, of course, is getting pre-approved with you. Now, let's say you have a current home that you need to sell before you purchase your next home. Some people have their current home paid off. Maybe they have a lot of equity paid off. Maybe they have a very low interest rate, so their monthly payment is very low. What this affects is your debt to income ratio. So if you have an existing home and you have a mortgage payment and a credit card bill and a car payment and any other monthly payment, all of these things count as debts. So that's going to be your debt number, and then your income number will be the income from your tax returns. And if you're a business owner, they'll take the last 2 years of your tax returns after all your write-offs, and they'll average them out. If you're a W-2 worker, they'll use the most recent one, but they do want to see at least 2 years work history. So if you are selling your current home and you really need to sell it before you purchase your next one, we can help you get that one on the market. And once it's under contract, there are certain lenders that will see that your home is under contract and they will provide you a pre-approval to purchase your next home, even when this one hasn't closed yet. However, the best case scenario is to offload the current home that you're trying to sell and then purchase your next home. You'll have the best buying power. Your offers will look cleaner to the people that you're presenting them to, the homeowners. And overall, you should have less stress that way because you're not relying on the current one to close and the one you're trying to purchase to close at the same time, which can get a little hairy if anybody has some issues anywhere throughout the process. Now, when looking at a lender, there's pretty much 3 different types of lenders that you can use. There's the big banks, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, etc. Then you're also going to have the private mortgage companies. This is Cross Country Mortgage, New Jersey Lenders, other local mortgage companies, Bond Street Mortgage. There's a lot of them around here. And then you also have mortgage brokers, which are kind of unique because brokers actually work with a ton of different banks and mortgage companies, and they will help you handpick the best rate out of all of their allies or the people that they work with. So brokers are pretty cool. I know that a lot of people have found success with brokers in the past year or so because it's hard to shop for rates right now. You have to sign up for all these banks and you have all these people hitting you up. But hey, I do know people that have shopped at 13 different banks, and on the 13th one, they finally found the lowest rate. So when you're looking for a loan officer or a lender, make sure that you're rate conscious, but also choose somebody that you feel like you can trust, because a lot of loan officers will blow a lot of smoke into your face to try to get you to work with them. When you're asking for rates, make sure you ask how many points does that rate cost? What is the rate for no points? Now, a point is 1% of the loan amount. So if you're doing FHA 3.5% down, that means the loan amount is 96.5% of the purchase price. And let's just do a $1 million example, just to give you some idea of what you're looking at. That means to pay 1 point, you have to pay 1% of $965,000, which is going to be $9,650. So just to get a rate, if you're paying 1 point, that means at the closing table, not only buying the $1 million house, but you're also showing up with closing costs of $9,650 that you're just giving to the bank in order to get a lower interest rate. So a lot of banks and mortgage companies, they'll advertise their lowest rate, but they won't advertise, or they'll put in very small text that in order to get that rate, you have to pay points. Always ask the lenders, what is your best rate without points? That's my recommendation. If you want to pay for points, there are certain calculations that you can do with the lender to show when it finally does pay off. I find that the points kind of pay off in about 10 to 13 years. So in my personal preference, I'd rather just keep the money in my pocket. However, to each their own. If you're rate obsessed and you want something low, you can pay points to get it down. All right, so you've talked to your lender. The next thing you want to do is talk to your real estate agent, AKA myself, or some of the other great real estate agents in Northern New Jersey. They're out there, and I highly encourage any home buyer to work with somebody that they feel comfortable with, that they trust, that knows that, you know, this real estate agent has my back. And I'll admit that some people don't feel that way about me. The people that I do work with have typically always found the place that they're looking for. I'm patient with my buyers. I'm very analytical. I'm basically a fake inspector, right? I don't have a license, but I see everything that the inspectors are going to call out. And I always have fun pointing out, oh, the inspector's going to point that out. Oh, the inspector's going to point that out. Oh, the inspector's going to point that out. My buyers seem to like that. So that's kind of how I work. A ton of real estate agents out there. Like I said, interview a bunch. But what you're going to want to start with your real estate agents that you finally get a good vibe for, maybe it's one or two of them, you want to start narrowing down your neighborhoods, because every neighborhood in Northern New Jersey, specifically Bergen County, is very nuanced. Everything has its own vibe. Everything has its own reputation. So people from the area know what reputation each neighborhood has. Personally, I don't really care about the reputations in the neighborhood, but I know a lot of people do. And typically the better the reputation, the more prestigious the school system, the better the commutes, the more expensive the homes. So everything is pretty obvious once you start taking a good look at it. Like houses in Hackensack are going to be cheaper than houses in River Edge, even though they're right next to each other. Why? River Edge has a great school system, Riverdale school system combined with Oradell. Hackensack has an urban community and it's more densely populated, lower student to teacher ratio, all sorts of things that affect Hackensack having a lower school rating than River Edge. And it's going to be reflected everywhere. It'll be reflected in the home prices. It'll be reflected in the type of people that you see there. And that's not throwing shade at anybody. It's just the reality of living in North Jersey. Everybody knows who everybody is and where everybody's going to be. The main things that you're going to want to discuss with your real estate agent are the schools, the lifestyle that you want, the access to shopping, and really, really big thing, what do you want your commute to look like if you're moving here to work in New York City? Because there are a ton of options that all have different commutes. Personally, I'm a big fan of the 20-minute commute because I like getting places fast, but I know people are willing to move up to Mahwah and they're down for a nice hour and 15-minute train ride. There's no problem with that. So pick things that you like, discuss this with your agent, and find out if what you want is going to be feasible in their opinion for the amount that you're willing to pay. I think that's a fair way to go about it. And if you do that, you're going to have the most success because there's transparency on both sides. The market's really hot right now. Agents are not just blowing smoke up your butt. I promise you, I was actually just looking at all the houses that sold $100,000 over asking in the past 7 days just for fun. And yeah, let's just look at this. So we got this one, sold 51,000 over asking. We got this one, 111,000 over asking. 126,000 over asking. 151,000 over asking. 185,000 over asking. 180,000 over asking. 200,000 over asking. So when your agent is suggesting that you need to go $75,000 over asking for this house, take a step back. Understand the agent is not trying to make you pay more. They are not commission obsessed. They just know that when they're speaking with a listing agent and there's a ton of offers on the home, that you're gonna have to place a very strong offer. And maybe the listing agent is just saying that you need to be this high, but maybe they're not. And typically What I find is that the listing agents are pretty honest because the market is literally that hot. And I've worked with buyers up to 2 years, have placed over 55 offers for a single buyer before they finally get something accepted. Why is this? It's because really you got to be patient to find the house that you love. And when you find that one, you have to do what it takes to get it. Now, obviously don't go crazy, but go kind of crazy. Because if you want this house and you have to go $50,000 over asking to get it, keep in mind that right now interest rates are high. The Fed has said that they're going to cut interest rates lower. So if there is a decrease in interest rates down the line, what's great about it is you can refinance the house that you already own to a lower interest rate, which will give you a lower monthly payment. But also you're not going to have to compete against the upward pressure on home prices and the new entrants in the market when we get lower interest rates. You'll already have the home that you like. So if you find the home you like, don't hesitate to actually go for it. It's scary, I know, to go over ask, but that's the value of the home, because not only are you willing to go over ask, but typically there's at least 5 other buyers willing to be right at your tail to place an offer at that price on that home. So when you go to sell, you already know that your home is a high demand home because other people wanted it too. It's actually kind of nice. If you see a house that gets no offers and it's just sitting there, there's probably something wrong with it. Either that or it's overpriced. So you can very easily spot the high demand homes and the low demand homes. And you got to ask yourself, what kind of house do you want to live in? A high demand house or a low demand house? And what does that mean to you? I'll tell you, a high demand house usually has a better location, better finishes, more durable, more livable, better layout, more space, both interior and exterior, while a low demand house might have some oddities and some things that just don't quite feel right that you're gonna have to live with every single day of your life. Is that worth $50,000 extra to you that's paid off over the course of 30 years? You gotta ask yourself that question. And the final thing that you gotta prepare for when you're 8 weeks out is to plan your visit to New Jersey. Obviously, I do work with a lot of people from out of state because I have a YouTube channel and people hit me up, but it's very important to actually get here and meet me. When you get here, I'm gonna take you out for lunch and we're gonna do showings the first time we meet. That's how I always meet my people who come to me from out of state. So it's a very simple process, but plan your trip, right? Get into the area, see things. Let's drive around. I'll show you the neighborhoods. I'll help you understand what is here. And I'll help you understand the best match for you particularly, because people come to this area from all over the world. Why? Because we have New York City in our backyard and we're the only non-borough suburb that actually directly borders Manhattan. You want to live in Westchester? Have fun with your 45-minute drive to the city while I have my 16-minute drive to my Regis alumni basketball on 84th and Park every Tuesday night. So these are things that I love about North Jersey, and a lot of people love that about it too. That's why they're moving here from around the world. So plan your trip, get over here in North Jersey, and let's start actually exploring what this place has to offer you in particular. You did everything you're supposed to do. The 2 weeks went by and now you're 6 weeks out. Maybe you already visited New Jersey. Maybe you already checked out some neighborhoods. Maybe you already placed an offer on a house. Well, if your timeline is 6 weeks, you better be placing offers on houses right now, because it's gonna take about 30 to 45 days to close on a purchase. So you're gonna wanna make sure that if you are selling a house in your current area, it is on the market and it is showing well and you're receiving offers ready to accept one. So now you're 6 weeks out. If you aren't under contract on a house in New Jersey already, at this moment in time, it's gonna be very important to start getting those offers out on the houses that you like. This is a rushed timeline like we went over in the beginning of this video. So if you have more time for this, fantastic. Understand if you do have a rushed timeline, there's low inventory on the market right now, and the really nice houses that you're gonna want are gonna go over asking. So you're gonna need to get an accepted offer fast if you're interested in moving to New Jersey with a home purchase rather than a home rental, which will be your backup option if you need to be here by a certain date. So what you're gonna do at this 6 weeks out point is you're gonna set a date. What is your move out date? Move in date, everything. What I like to do is prepare a completely blank calendar. You're gonna put your move in date. Let's say you want your move in date June 30th, and right now it's May 15th, and you're not under contract on a home yet. You better get an accepted offer before June 1st. That way your mortgage company is able to close you in 30 days. And that will also give you plenty of time to do your inspections, all your due diligence, your title work, and survey anything else that you might want when you're purchasing this home. And of course, negotiations as well. At this point, it's really a good idea to start working on your budget as well. Your budget is going to need to include your entire down payment. You're going to have to know where that's coming from. So your down payment, be it as low as 3.5% or as high as 20 to 50 or whatever percent you really want to put down. Know where that money is going to come from. Also know that there's going to be some other costs that you're going to incur, including closing costs. We talked about the point system with the lenders earlier. Those points are a type of closing costs. Your attorney fees and a closing costs, your appraisal, your inspection. There's a lot of closing costs that are going to pop up. And typically I find that they're about 2.5% of the home price. So you're gonna have to prepare a significant amount of money for your closing costs in addition to your down payment. There are certain ways that we could get these closing costs reduced with things like seller concessions or seller credits or negotiations throughout the transaction. So you can ask me more about that in person, but that's really a case-by-case basis. And the answer usually is, it depends on both the seller situation, your situation, personal preferences. There's a lot of things that go into negotiations. So I like to take that as a case-by-case basis. Keep that in mind. You're also going to need to prepare for your moving costs. This includes your actual movers, any new furniture that you're going to need. It can very easily add up super quickly. So set a budget and try your best to stick to your actual moving costs. Call some moving companies, get some quotes, and find out what you're going to be up against. It's very important at this 6 weeks out phase to understand what it's going to look like financially for you to buy a house in Northern New Jersey. And then on top of the down payment, the closing costs, and the moving costs, it's a good idea to have at least a few $1,000s as a just-in-case emergency budget. I understand it seems expensive, but you have to understand you are buying a property in one of the most expensive areas in the country when you're moving to Northern New Jersey. Luckily, it's cheaper than Westchester and Long Island, but we are still minutes away from New York City, and therefore you are going to be paying a premium to live in the NYC metropolitan area. All right, you did everything you were supposed to do again, and now you're 4 weeks out. So what comes next? At this point, you better be under contract on your home in New Jersey. We could have sent one offer out. We could have sent 10 offers out in the past 4 weeks, but you're 4 weeks out now. You need to be under contract if you want to move in by the date that you set, which is 4 weeks out from today. At this point in time, you want to make sure that your current home sale is going very smoothly if you are selling out of state. And if you're just renting or you have any place that you're moving from, you want to start decluttering and getting everything ready. That way, I know it's a little early 4 weeks out, but when the time does come, there's going to be other things that feel more hectic than taking care of packing up boxes and suitcases and things like that. So if you get prepared early, you're going to feel much more safe and comfortable later down the line. So declutter everything. If you're a member of some local clubs, wherever you're living now, start canceling those. Make sure that you're releasing all of your credit card subscriptions and stuff like that. You don't want anything tied to the place where you're moving from because you're not going to be there anymore. In addition to that, make sure you forward all your mail to your new mailing address. Of course, you know this because you'll be under contract on the home that you're buying in New Jersey. Make sure you get the utility and connection information from your real estate agent or from the seller of the home that you're purchasing in New Jersey. That way, you know, you can prepare and get all of your utilities and internet and everything like that ready to go. No, you don't want to move into a place and not have anything hooked up. Other things that you might want to do, if you have any medical conditions or really good doctors, you're going to want to let them know that you are moving out of state and you're going to have all your files transferred. If you're packing everything up, you might want to consider even just donating some stuff or selling some stuff. That way it makes it easier to plan on what kind of stuff you're going to be getting in your new home. And the last thing at this 4 week out stage is you should know your moving date and you should be talking to your manager or whoever your higher ups are at work and be preparing to take some time off around the closing date. I recommend always taking the closing day off, but sometimes the day after or even 2 days after can be very helpful. That way you're just clear headed. You can focus on your move, get everything done before you go back to work in a couple days, week, whatever it is. Things are going well and you're officially 2 weeks out. You're very excited. You've either sold your current home out of state or you know that the closing dates are going to be simultaneous, something like that, but you're getting very excited. You're making sure all the due diligence is done for the purchase of your home in Northern New Jersey. Us as the real estate agent will update you to make sure that you know when your mortgage commitment is in, make sure you know when your title is back, make sure you know when the certificate of occupancy is issued from the town that you're going to be moving to, Make sure that the inspection is done and everything that you need has been negotiated for. Make sure the appraisal is done. If it came in low, make sure that it's negotiated down to some degree. That way it takes unnecessary pressure off of you to bring extra cash to the closing table. And the other thing that you need to do is make sure that, if you had a survey done, we have that back for you. So those are the main aspects that you need to pay attention to. In Northern New Jersey, you will be using a real estate attorney. So the agent and the attorney will be communicating hand in hand with you throughout the process. But you're 2 weeks out, you know what's happening and you know what your closing date is looking like. If it's getting delayed from the seller, if it's getting delayed from your lender, anything like that, you're gonna have a good inkling at this point 2 weeks out. It's a good idea to start checking all the logistics, making sure that all the odds and ends are tied up, the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. At this point in time, the move is real. Everybody is relying on you to sell your old house. The seller is relying on that to happen so that they know that the money's coming in for the sale of their house, right? You want to get compensated when you sell your house, so does the seller when he sells his to you. So there's a lot going on, a lot of emotions can arise here. So make sure that everything is tied up, and if you have any questions, ask them aggressively at this point. That way these questions aren't surfacing 48 hours before the closing date. The time keeps on ticking, and now you're 1 week away from closing on your new house. Congratulations. Pretty awesome. If you haven't closed on your current house, you're going to want to hire that deep cleaning company. That way you deliver your out-of-state property to its new buyers very clean. We're going to want to make sure that the seller of your current house has gotten rid of most of his stuff or has clear plans as to how he's going to get rid of most of his stuff. That's very important. I always request that the homes that we purchase in Northern New Jersey be delivered in broom swept condition. This means that there is basically nothing, no personal items in the house at all, and it looks broom swept. And that sale is ready to go. And then make sure that your purchase is ready to go. Double check with your lender, double check with title, double check with your real estate agent and attorney to make sure that you're all set. You don't have to worry about anything at this point. Also, 1 week out, it's a really good idea if you're selling your current place to give the title company your keys. That way, when you don't show up at the closing because you pre-signed all your documents, the title company can just give the buyers the keys to your old house and you don't have to worry about some kind of delivery of the keys. They just purchase the home, they sign the paperwork, they get the keys. You don't have to be there. Make sure you give your keys to the title company. That way you don't have to worry about it. So as you can see, it actually gets a little bit easier once you get through those first few phases of all that research and all these offer placing and finding out where you want to live and what house you like. So at the end, it gets a lot less stressful, especially if you've taken all the necessary steps that I talked about in this video. But you're finally made it, and today is closing day for you. So what do you have to expect for closing day, and what's it going to be like? So you're going to show up to the real estate attorney's office in New Jersey. You're going to sign all your paperwork with the notary. They're going to explain everything to you. Boom, you closed on your house. Congratulations. Immediately after that, you're going to want to ensure that all your utilities are live, running, that they're paid for by you in your name. That way your house is fully functional and there's no dead time before you can move in and turn the lights on at night. You're also going to want to go to Home Depot, Lowe's, something like that, get your new locks and change the locks immediately. New Jersey is a squatter friendly state for some reason. I've never seen squatters myself. I have heard stories, but you want to change your locks immediately. It's your house now. It's not the previous owners. They have no right to enter that property ever again without your permission. So change your locks, get that going. Other things that you're going to want to get going. If you have a car, you're going to want to switch the plates over to New Jersey plates. You're going to need a New Jersey driver's license. So you want to schedule that with the DMV as soon as you can. The New Jersey DMVs are DMVs like anywhere else in the states that I know of, and they're bad. So the lines are very long at the New Jersey DMVs. They're a very densely populated area too. So make sure you schedule something and get that ready as soon as possible. And those are really the main things that you need to know if you're relocating to come to New Jersey. You know those things, you have a good team, you're going to be taken care of, you're going to feel confident throughout the entire process, transaction, everything. Now, if you just go on Zillow and hire a real estate agent from there, you're going to be getting somebody random. It's never the listing agent through a site like that. And if you just go to your local bank and you just work with Chase, it's going to be hard to get transparency into your options. If you want to be creative with your financing, get different loan options. So I definitely recommend actually talking to a lot of people, not necessarily just myself. I think you should talk to a lot of people. I do get along with a lot of people who are interested in buying houses here. I am a real estate agent after all. I'm definitely a business owner too. So I kind of get along with people who understand what is going on here, right? I don't really get along too well with people who are just like thinking that I'm scamming them when literally all I'm doing is my job. So definitely interview multiple people. You'll find out who you like, get it going, get over here to North Jersey, get to go to New York City all the time. I go like at least twice a week and I love it here. So you got to get over here, check it out. If you're 8 weeks out, plan your trip, get in touch with me. Let's get lunch. I'll take you to some areas that you're interested in. We'll talk about everything that you're looking for at home. And hopefully at the end of the day, I can help you feel confident in your purchase of your New Jersey home. My name is Tyler Sellers. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in New Jersey, and I'm happy to help and provide this information to you. Hope it helped. Please comment below. Would love to hear your thoughts, where you're from, what's going on in your life, anything at all. Comment it below. I'll drop all my contact information down in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.